my name is Keely and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. Today I'm using another very naughty fragrance. We go for that plip plop method, but the end result is pretty good. Let's go and see what happens. Alright, so we are going to start with the whisk today, and that is because the fragrance oil we are using is called Black Rose and Oud, and it's got notes of rose, geranium, saffron and pepper at its top. Through the middle we've got some clove, cinnamon, nutmeg and palm rosa. And then at its base we've got oud, musk, patchouli and vanilla. Now it does have that rose scent, which definitely comes through from the rose and that geranium. I'm hoping that that patchouli and oud will really pop once this turns into soap. It does give it those sort of oud and patchouli musk sort of notes, give it that more of a rose smell. I quite often find that rose fragrance oils smell very false, very chemical like, whereas this one really does have that smell of rose bushes. But because I have got all that rose and geranium through here, I decided we'll start by hand whisking just to give me the best possible chance at getting a pretty pour through this soap. So let me give this a good whisk and we'll come back and we'll split it up for the colours. Alright, so the first colour I'm going to split off, I have got some activated charcoal in there, and I have also put in some Extravagance Gold Mica because I want that sort of shimmer from off the gold, but I do want this black colour. I'm going to be fairly generous with the black there. I have also got some really red mica from off Nurture Soap. I want enough to be able to do a bit of a drop swirl with it, as well as a little bit of piping. So that one is looking nice in there. And then in this one I have some Olive Grove mica from my Mica Obsession, and I'm going to do a little bit of piping at the end. Going to do some leaves, and this time because I want them to be quite a dark leaf, that's why I haven't gone for one of my brighter colours. And this green has that gold shine to it as well, which is really going to be good for this soap. Into my big bucket here I am going to put in some titanium dioxide because I want this to have a white base. Even though this has got vanilla in it, it says it has 0% vanillin, so I'm really hoping that is true. I'm going to get these colours mixed in, and then I'll add the fragrance oil and see what this is going to do before we put the stick blender in a little bit more. So our colours are mixed in. I'm not going to add any fragrance into the green, but we are going to add it into these. Let's see what happens. I'm going to start with the white first. That's looking good. It has gone quite yellow, so hopefully it isn't going to discolour. It is feeling nice at the moment, so I am going to risk it and put it into the black and the red. Alright, so we have that mixed in. What I'm going to do with my black and my red is I'm going to pour mainly black and then just a little bit of red. This is starting to now set up. So yeah, this is not going to work. We're going to leave some of that red behind for some piping. Get the rest of the black in there. Yeah, my idea is not going to work. I was going to do a drop swirl, but I don't know if it's really gonna work on me. It is now actually looking like it's starting to rise as well. That's really naughty that it rises after I've mixed it, but what can you do? Alright, I'm just gonna keep on going with this. I will win. Let's get the white in here, stick our sides up. So, oh dear, that is completely set. Let's see if we can get this a little bit salvaged at least. Yeah, this is naughty. Let's just go for it, see what happens. Yet another plip plop soap. That's definitely not a drop swirl. We will get the coat hanger in there as well and just see if we can actually salvage this soap. So this is really weird, guys. That white, although it thickened up, it was still pourable, still manageable. This red, that is set solid. I was going to do some piping with it, but it is beyond being able to be piped with. So I'm actually going to leave it sit in that jug, and then once it's all set up, it will come out there quite easily, and that will become yet another ugly bar of soap for me to put in my shower. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just not very pretty, but it will still make a really good soap. What I am going to do while this is still wet enough and kind of mushy enough to put embeds on, I am going to do just that so that my roses stick. So let's get these roses on. I piped these in the behind the scenes video this week. I did put a little poll up on my on the YouTube sort of story sort of things, asking if you wanted to see the piping of these roses, and you all said yes. So if you have actually missed seeing it, I will leave a link to the video up in the top right hand corner, so you can go and pop over and have a look at how I piped these roses. So this is going to be one of those soaps where, once again, not every bar is going to get a whole rose, but I will do my best to try and get at least a good proportion of a rose on each of these soaps. Let me just do a quick head count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, we've got plenty to go on here. So I'm going to pop these on here. I decided to go with black roses for these, and I am absolutely loving how they turned out. Black roses are a bit weird. They have got a bit more of a charcoaly grey sort of colour, but you can see all that shimmer from that gold mica that I used to do these in a drop swirl, and I'm absolutely loving how they came out. This is definitely going to be one of those soaps where it is one of those random tops, but I think it's going to be really, really pretty when it's done. So I'm going to get all these actually stuck into the top. I'm going to put that green that we've got over here into the piping bag so we can pipe some leaves on here. And then I am also just very quickly going to make up a little bit more soap batter using the heat transfer method, and then I will do that in some red, so we can also add some red flowers to the top of this one. So we now have some red soap made up using that heat transfer method, and I've got a Wilton 2D tip in here. It's a bit of a closed star tip, I believe they call it, and it just makes some really nice little drop flowers. Now, funnily enough, I made this up, and I have been waiting probably about half an hour for this soap to become ready to pipe. So you really can't win with soap. It either moves so fast you can't do anything with it, or you are spending hours waiting for it to move so you can do something with it. But I'm really pleased with how these have come up. So we're going to get lots of these little red ones piped on here, and then we will get some green leaves piped on in between as well. So would I actually soap with this fragrance again? And the answer actually would be yes. The whole reason I actually got this fragrance in was because someone who gets custom made soaps from me said ages ago that this was one of the fragrances that they were actually interested in. So I looked it up, and I thought it actually really does sound very nice, and it does smell very nice as well. And I thought, you know what, I'll get it in and see how it actually does behave, so I can make a call on what sort of design that we would do. And you know what, I actually still would soap with it, but I would work very, very differently. So he obviously didn't like the Nurture Red soap. And to be honest, whenever I have used that really red soap with any floral fragrance, it really does accelerate. It must just be something to do with the oxides and stuff that go into that really red that really do make it accelerate the way it does. And the black did thicken up, but not nearly as bad as what that red did. And the white stayed fluid enough. So what I would probably do if I soaped with this one again is I would do that white base and put all of my fragrance oil into the base. And then I would do a drop swirl with the other colors, but with no fragrance in those other colors. And that should actually then work. I'm now going to put some leaves on. I've got a Wilton 366 leaf tip, and it's one of these really big leaf ones because I want them to really stand up strong against these big roses. So I'm just going to randomly put my leaves in. Every so often I make sure that I actually turn my molds so we get a more sort of natural look to those leaves. They get a real random pattern. Right, so just to finish this off, I have some clear melt and pour, which I have put some of the Extravagance Gold mica into, and I'm just putting little drops into the middle of all these red flowers, and that's just to help bring that sort of gold theme from out of the black into the rest of the soap. This soap is causing me so much grief today. This is just unbelievable. Alright, so let's try that again. I've just remelted it down. Going to work fairly quickly. As I was saying, this soap has caused me so much grief today. It's not one of the worst ones I have ever worked with. I've certainly worked with worse. But this week I have made 3 slab molds, and this is the 8th out of 10 loaf molds that I'm making, and this is the only one that so far has accelerated on me and caused me grief throughout the whole making. So I suppose I have been pretty lucky so far to have made so many soaps in a row that have behaved so well. I really am hoping that that hanger swirl has worked on the inside of this to make all of that messing around worth it. I am going to bring you down for a look. Alright, so here is Black Rose and Oud up close. I did just give it a very quick spritz with some of that Extravagance Gold mica just to really make it pop as well. I am actually really loving the top. Can't wait to get this one cut open. So I'm going to leave it sit here for 24 hours and we will be back in just a moment to cut it open and have a look. Alright, let's cut into our Black Rose and Oud. It's looking interesting on the other side. I'm hoping I'm going to have that same luck that I do have every time I end up with a plip plop soap and get that beautiful swirl in the middle. We'll get it cut open and we will see what has happened. It is smelling so good for a rose fragrance. It does have more of a true rose, and I think that is because of all those woodier tones, those smooth woody tones that it threw with it. Really takes away that chemical smell that I find a lot of rose fragrances do have. I am almost through, and let's take a look. Alright guys, I don't know how I do it, because if I tried to do this purposely, I can tell you, trying to get a pretty swirl with a plip plop specific one is not going to work, but that has come up pretty good. I'm really pleased with that. You can, I think you can see it in the camera, the red in these pieces is very, very faint, but there's kind of like lots of little dots of it throughout the black, and that gold that we've put in with the activated charcoal, it just sparkles. I am in love with it. I'm just stunned at how I managed to get those sort of really swirly bits in there whenever it does behave really, really badly. Let's see if we get anything more as we go down, or if that middle bit's just pure fluke. So there's those two pieces. So we've got a bit more of a chunky red colour there, but I still have a beautiful swirl with that black. I really, really love how it's come together. Really, really like the top as well with those bits of rose, and that gold just sets it off. Really pleased I used that Olive Grove green. Usually I like to use a brighter green, but just having that black rose and oud just called for that, something a little bit more sultry, which is why I went for that sort of creamier, golder sort of green color there. So that is the inside there. So we've got a lot more of that red, but again, that black has also swirled quite nicely. And I would say that is because that black set up, oh sorry, the red set up so much quicker than the black that I was able to get that black to actually move through the white, whereas that red was a little bit tougher to get moving. But in any which case, I am still really pleased with how it turned out, considering it could be absolutely disastrous. The end pieces haven't got much colour in, but that side is really, really pretty there. So I hope you have enjoyed coming on that really fast track journey with me once again. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you are new around here and you have enjoyed watching how I made this soap, please consider subscribing. I do bring out 2 videos every week. Quite often we have some behind the scenes as well as soap making videos, so I show you how I make all these pretty embeds and things. So again, thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, I hope you have a great one and I will see you then. Bye.